All right, welcome back, fellas. This is my third time recording this video. This is your NFL Sunday Week 10. I almost said recap. No, this is your preview. We have 5 plays for you today that I'm going to go over that I already have on Pickett. Make sure if you're not Pickett, use code BDG when you sign up because you'll get all my plays. We'll go over all that. We'll do all that typical shit. You know, we'll do all that sort of stuff, right? But we're going to start with the Giants. Carolina. This might be an unedited video. I'm editing it. And I might just not leave anything out. We're taking not Chuba today, and Chuba's been a go-to guy for me, but we're gonna stay away from Chuba, and we're definitely not taking Bryce Young as much as I love him. We are taking Tyrone Tracy, and is it on here? It is not on my desktop. It's definitely on my phone though. And I can flash on the screen for you. Tyrone Tracy. We'll take the rushing yards for now, but we're taking his rushing attempts. Tyrone Tracy over 16.5 rushing attempts. It's what I got on Pickett. You can see it right here. Tyrone Tracy over rushing attempts. I just leaked all my other plays I'm going to show you guys for later today. That's fine. I don't care. Tyrone Tracy obviously has been a dog this season, and they just simply have not adjusted his lines. The only players to not hit this line versus Carolina so far. Oh, I pull up props.cast. You guys. Oh, shit. The only players to not hit this line were Bijan Robinson when Tyler Algier was also going off, and Bijan had a crazy day anyway, and the Vegas backs when the Carolina Panthers actually beat Las Vegas by a lot, and they didn't run the ball a lot. So everyone else that they've played, every other team that Carolina's played, is at a back go over this line. And Tyrone Tracy's gone over this 16.5 marker 3 of 5 games so far that he's played. And he already had 16 last game. He was 1 attempt away from hitting this versus Washington. And we got this at great odds on ESPN bet at -110 as well, so we're getting a good value on it. But again, Carolina allows the most rushing yards this season. They allow the most rushing attempts this season. They allow over 160 rushing yards per game this season, which is insane. So you know Tyrone Tracy is going to be heavily involved in this ball game. You know, he's probably going to be the focal point since he's taken over this role in with dating back to October 6 is when he really took over the role. He's averaging a 70% snap share, 68.4 to be exact, which is plenty of snap share to easily hit over this line, and it hasn't been fading. Its last game, he saw 72% of snaps. Devin Singletary was still playing, so he's still seeing it even with Singletary back. Singletary's not taking any role from him at this point, and he's fared very well running between the tackles so far this season, averaging 5.8 yards per carry, and he's only averaging 2.6 on the outside, but on the inside, Carolina's got absolutely shredded this season, so it's a great matchup as well here against our interior defense. That is absolutely horrible. If you guys don't know, I am a Panthers fan, sadly. But yeah, he's absolutely crushing it this line this year so far, and I think he's going to continue to have a big game this week. I'm also betting on him to score a touchdown, but I'm not obviously going to make that an official play. But I do think he does get into the end zone, so love to see that. But we're going to head to our next play here. So again, we just have rushing yards on the screen for you, but I think we're going to do we're doing rushing attempts instead. But again, for the visual, I have that there. Pittsburgh, Washington, I have nothing. Denver, Kansas City, I like the lean of Javonte lower. I like the lean of it. So if you want to take that, I'm very on that board as well. Javonte under rushing yards. I think it's at 38.5. I like the under for show. San Francisco, Tampa Bay. I am taking a play here, and that's going to be Cade Otton over 57.5 receiving yards. Cade Otton's absolutely destroyed this line so far in the past 3 games this season, and we'll go look at him real quick just to get a quick glance of what we're engaging with here. You look at receiving yards so far. 57.5 feels like a low line when over the past 3 games without Chris Godwin, without Mike Evans, he's seen 75 plus receiving yards. He's also been targeted on 30% of routes the past 2 weeks. That's nuts, dude. 30% of routes he's targeted. That is literally 1/3 of the offense he's taking up. On has also averaged 7.9 yards on his depth of targets so far this year. That is way up from his average in the beginning of the season. That's almost a yard further down the field. Now, again, you're probably like, it's only a yard, but a yard is a big difference when you're talking about depth of target. Also, when he's been targeted in the slot, he's been targeted in the slot 12 times. He's being used as a big slot. A Dalton Kincaid, a Travis Kelce, a Brock Bowers, a Mark Andrews like 2 years ago. Like that sort of vibe where he's a bigger tight end, but is being used as a receiving tight end. Mike Gesicki for the Cincinnati Bengals has been used as that a lot recently. And you look at these guys that they're seeing big volume. They're seeing a lot of yards, and we're going to keep going with that with Cade Otton here. He's recorded 24.7% of the slot target share so far. Obviously with Cade Otton, with Chris Godwin being out, he's taken all of that from him pretty much. Since week 8, he's at 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, and on 12 targets from the slot. That's the 6th most yards from the slot in the NFL. So he's been absolutely killing it in that 2-week span. If we just go to here, a quick glance. I know you guys can't quite see it on your screen. I think it cuts off. It does, but I'll read it to you guys. Obviously, Jake Ferguson, Dallas, that was a shit show. I'm not counting that one. But Noah Gray had 66 yards on this team. Noah Fant had 63 yards on this team. Trey McBride had his 53 day. Also had 2 catches that could have been longer that got called back. Yeah, so they've had lots of pretty big days at tight ends, and I think they're going to do another one here with Kate Otten, who doesn't even feel like a tight end at this point, and he's going to keep crushing this line versus San Francisco team that is susceptible. And he's the #1 target for Baker right now. So heading to our next play, we might as well stay on props.catch. And make sure if you're not on, I didn't even say this in the beginning, make sure if you're not on Underdog, you get on Underdog, because not only will you get a free square of CJ Stroud at half a yard, but you'll also be able to get up to $1,000 in deposit match bonuses. So make sure you use code BDG when you sign up. We're going to head to our next play here, which is going to be Jets in Arizona game, and we're going to be taking Garrett Wilson. I took him at 69.5 yards for minus 115 on DraftKings. You guys can do the same on Underdog. I can tell you what the line is real quick. It is 71.5 yards, and you probably can juice it a little bit under. Yep, right here at 68.9. You're losing only 0.98, so it's about the same here, minus 115 for Garrett here. So we absolutely love it at 69.5. If you saw it on props.cash earlier, as I brought it up, he's been crushing this line for the last 5 games. He's seeing a increased average yards per target, like we just talked about with Cade Otton. It is a big difference, even though he's only seeing 2% lower of the target rate. Obviously, when Devontae Adams is there, he's taking pressure away from Garrett Wilson, which leads to bigger days. Obviously, when he's being targeted down the field, averaging an air yard per target of 3.7. Wilson has caught 6 of his 13 targets of 10+ air yards since week 7, totaling 154 yards and a touchdown. In the previous weeks before that, in 6 weeks before that, he only had 121 yards of 7 receptions. So obviously, it's a drastic difference. He's being used more as a deep field threat. He's getting Aaron Rodgers to be able to air it out a little bit more, and he's been absolutely killing this line. Also, the Cardinals give up a ton of pass yards. They give up 228 pass yards per game, and they're allowing 7.8 yards per attempt in the league right now. So they're allowing a lot of yards per attempt. Garrett Wilson seeing deep field shots. This Arizona team's allowing deep field shots, and we can look at previous wide receivers versus Arizona team. As we see, Rome Odunze 104 yards, Tyreek Hill 72 yards. As you can see, Joshua Palmer had 63 on this team. Brandon Ayuk 147 dating back there. Amon-Ra had 75. There's just a lot going on here for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think Garrett Wilson can have a pretty big day here again as well. We also can, we added him here. We have 2 more plays to go over. Not going to waste your time. I do want to get this a little bit done fast so I can get this out to you guys, since I've had to redo this so many goddamn times. But our next play, we're going to the Bills game, which is a 1 o'clock game. Bills, Indianapolis. It's not going to be Jonathan Taylor, even though I've been hammering Jonathan Taylor recently, and it's been paying off for the most part. It's going to be Khalil Shakir. They don't have his reception line, but I like his receptions at 5.5. I got it at minus 128 on FanDuel. So if you want to follow on there, again, it's on Pickett, as you guys can see. Make sure you're on Pickett using code BDG when you sign up. You can tell getting all of my odds that I get these bets at, and all of the best outs. And if you want to take a little bit of juice, you can, but we're taking him at 5.5 receptions here for this Colts versus Buffalo game. Khalil Shakir, 5.5. Love the total. Listen, he's been crushing it the past 3 games. Now he might not have an Amari Cooper as well. Also, Keon Coleman is out. So if he's missing both of those guys, his target share is going to go insane. Past 3 games, 7, 10, 7 targets. That is plenty. 24 targets, and he's over this line 3 of the last 5 games. Obviously, the Colts give up 233.8 passing yards per game. That is the 6th most so far in the NFL, and they're allowing a ton of receptions while doing it. 2 slot receivers so far this season. They've allowed 7.8 yards per attempt, so it's very similar to our stat from last game as well. And he's averaging 5.3 catches with 58.9 receiving yards per game. And he's heading into the game, again, in this perfect matchup versus the Colts, who have been absolutely shredded by wide receivers. Justin Jefferson had 7 receptions. On the same game, Jordan Addison had 5 receptions. Stephon Diggs, 5 receptions before he got hurt, which is, again, important to know, because if he doesn't get hurt, he probably goes over that line. Tank Dell then follows up with 4. He's had Brian Thomas had 5 receptions in the game. DeAndre Hopkins on Tennessee had 4 receptions. George Pickett's had 7. DJ Moore had 8. Rome Odunze had 6. Nico Collins had 6. Stephon Diggs game 1 had 6. A lot of these guys are going over this mark. I think Khalil Shakir is going to end up being the wide receiver 1 for this Buffalo team this week, especially if Amari Cooper is out. So I'm trying to take advantage of this line while it's low. If Amari Cooper gets ruled out by the time you're seeing this or whenever, this line will completely shoot up, and you won't be able to get it at 5.5 anymore for anywhere decent odds. So make sure you take advantage of that. Again, for now, we have the buffer as receiving yards showing, but I like both. You could easily go receiving yards as well. And for our last play, it is my favorite play, minus 120 on ESPN bet. And you guys, again, probably already saw when I looked over the Pickett stuff, but it is going to be the Philadelphia Eagle. It's going to be Saquon Barkley over 89.5 rushing yards. So we're getting it here at good value, 89.5 total rushing yards. I absolutely love this mark as he's been crushing it He's been absolutely crushing it so far this season, as he's hit this in 6 of 8 games so far, averaging 115.6 rushing yards per game. And now they go into a matchup versus the Cowboys, who the Cowboys love to stack the box. They stack the box at the at the 5th highest rate so far this NFL season. And Saquon Barkley is only one of 2 backs with at least 30 carries that average 5.0 yards so 5 total yards to loaded boxes so far this season. He's had 287 yards, 2 touchdowns on 52 carries. First, a loaded box again is the second most so far. The only one higher is Derrick Henry. If you don't know what a loaded box is, it's when you bring 7 or 8 guys in between the hashes, going against your line, in between the sides of the tackle. So the tackle's forearm is out here, left tackle's forearm out here. In between those tackles is the box. It's called the tackle box for a reason. So you bring those defenders in to try to stop the run, the inside carry specifically. And the Cowboys have sucked versus this loaded box. So look, they've done it a lot, but they're allowing the 3rd highest rate so far this season. They're allowing they also have the 2nd lowest success rate against this season. It gets under center formations. The offense has run this primarily on 84% of their run plays. That's the 4th highest in the NFL, averaging 5.5 yards per rush under center. And it gets the 3rd most in the NFL that they are averaging per yards. And the Cowboys are allowing the 3rd most rushing yards to under center alignments this season. 720 they've given up, generating the 2nd lowest success rate, like I said earlier. And Saquon Barkley has been just crushing it this season, generating 263 plus rushing yards over expected. That's the 2nd most in the NFL. So he's just being an animal. He's going to continue to be an animal versus Dallas, who he absolutely hates and he's crushed in the past. And this Dallas defense is looking like one of the worst rushing defenses on all of football. As of right now, they allow the 2nd most rushing yards per game and the 2nd most rushing attempts. I think Saquon Barkley continues to kill this line here today. So absolutely love this matchup. That is all 5 picks I have for you guys. Make sure you use code BDG when you sign up on Underdog and on Pickett. It's absolutely free. The link is in the description as well. And you get money back when you do it. So it's absolutely worth it. But that's all I'm leaving with you guys here today. Make sure to like, subscribe. It's the easiest way to check out and support the channel. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.